I was with Scottish Futures Trust earlier this week, and I'm given to understand that this business case, the TIF-based business case, will be completed later this month. So they probably will be the first application to be considered by Scottish Future Trust for TIF-based finance, which will, I think, be a very interesting precedent for other bids. Meanwhile, across in Glasgow, and the project I'm most familiar with, I'm working with the City Council and the Buchanan Partnership to secure a £450 million development called the Buchanan Quarter. The TIF we're hoping to secure here, which is fully supported by a variety of public sector agencies, including the City Council and its partners, will address the complex infrastructure requirements, which include the enclosure of railway lines in Cathedral Street, which has to be done before electrification of the east-west rail link is programmed to be completed, a new bus station, and new and improved city centre car parking, as well as a new and improved concert venue. Most importantly, the bid is underwritten and is driven by the economic benefits that will be coming from doing this development scheme across a wider city centre area. And that includes improvements and investment that will be undertaken in the university sector, for example. All three councils, North Lanarkshire, Edinburgh City and Glasgow City, are content there is firm political support for a TIF-based development project, and all three are working to demonstrate to Scottish Futures Trust and its executive that there is a robust business case and economic model to substantiate the TIF-based requirements. Much of the preparatory work, as I've said, is coming together already. Edinburgh will be probably the first to make its business case, but work we're doing with the Glasgow team is certainly coming along hard behind the Edinburgh work, and we believe a preparatory business case will be completed within the next few weeks as well. Interestingly, the view north of the border is that the Scottish Government has the relevant devolved powers, particularly in relation to finance, to address the difficult questions associated with the distribution of non-domestic rates and income associated with the collection of non-domestic rates, which will be at the heart of the TIF-based scheme. The energy, in my view, being shown in Scotland to secure a TIF is not at present being matched south of the border. At a recent meeting of the British Property Federation a week or so back, where I attended, debate continues on the workings of the 2003 Local Government Act and the earlier 1988 Local Government Finance Acts. And there are a range of views around how those pieces of legislation can be made to work in a TIF context, or indeed whether, as is currently the view held by officers at CLG, new legislation may now be required to enable a TIF to be secured across the south. As I say, the implementation of a TIF in England divides opinion. And to précis a part of that view expressed by Anthony at last week's meeting, it was not just his opinion that the problem is not so much the legality of a TIF-based project, it's perhaps the political will to implement a TIF that seems to be holding us back. Finally, and to look ahead, we have a clear opportunity, in my opinion, to consider TIF in the context of its alternatives. Time will tell whether Infrastructure UK, and we may hear more about Infrastructure UK later today, will prefer to promote some form of bond in the forthcoming budget, and we'll see whether such a bond will be well received or not by the financial markets. And this may resonate with the political determination to reduce public sector indebtedness, and this has been referred to already this morning by other speakers. And we can't ignore the issue of a TIF having attached to it a public sector funding dimension. In my opinion, we can learn lessons from the US in our devising TIF-based models which are well suited to development in this country and across the wider UK business. As the British Property Federation already advocates, the but-for, i.e. the need for, the but-for test, I beg your pardon, needs to be robust. We need to be able to demonstrate that where we are using a TIF-based product to secure new development, we're not simply moving the benefit of one part of the city being cannibalised to enable another part of the city to be successful. The economic case also needs to be clear, and as I mentioned, the work that we are spending quite a lot of time on in Glasgow in particular is getting to grips with the economic benefits associated with the TIF-based project. And thirdly, the financial structuring needs to recognise the very different roles and risk-taking abilities of the public and the private sectors, and that clearly is an important part of structuring the legal agreements that run alongside a TIF-based agreement. However, as we gaze towards a TIF horizon, and we hope that TIF can be seized upon and made to work across the UK, we have to confront the fact that unlocking urban regeneration in our towns and cities has never been more difficult. And yet, many of our communities live in places where urban regeneration is a day-to-day issue for them to deal with, and there's never been a more pressing need to address the question of introducing successful financial models. At the moment, but I'll be interested to hear otherwise, there does not appear to be an alternative to a TIF-based regime. There is no alternative plan B, if you like. As the Scottish Futures team see it, there has already been an inordinate delay between what they see as being the flash of a TIF inception and the bang of TIF delivery. In conclusion, as I mentioned a moment or two ago, 60% of local authorities, when asked last spring, have made themselves, or put themselves forward as potential TIF-based pilot schemes, and that was based on very limited time and information. And I believe a number of other local authorities, if given the opportunity, will put themselves forward again. The Scots, in my view, are taking the lead, and they're pushing to secure TIF and believe it can be done. And there are questions around how it's done, but they believe it can be done. And in England, I think, tellingly, we are looking for the political determination to follow the pace that the Scots are setting. Thank you very much.